Hey bakers, John Cannell from Preppy Kitchen here, and today we're making these amazing fruit tarts. Perfectly baked, formed, delicious pastry shells filled with pastry cream, the most amazing custard you've ever had in your life. And of course, they're topped with fresh fruits, washed with an apricot brandy glaze for a little bit of sparkle and deliciousness. Let's get started. First off, we're gonna make our dreamy pastry cream. This is custard sent from heaven, but you need to chill it first, so we want to get this done as soon as possible, if not the day before. Day before is fine. You can do a lot of this prep the day before and assemble the day of. It'll be really easy. Start off by taking a vanilla bean, splitting it lengthwise, and then just scrape out all those amazing black seeds. Place that into a saucepan along with 2 cups of milk, whole please, and then heat that over like medium heat until it starts to simmer, like just about to boil. Take it off the heat, set it aside, and we're gonna work on our egg yolks. Take 6 egg yolks along with 2/3 of a cup of sugar. You could use a little bit more if you wanted, it's totally up to you. Pinch of salt, and give it a nice whisk. Whisk, 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 until it becomes like a light lemony yellow color. Now it's time to sift in a 1/4 cup of cornstarch, and then keep whisking. Stir, 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 stir. We're gonna have a nice homogeneous mixture. And now we're gonna temper that. So we're gonna add in like 1/2 cup or so of the hot milk, drizzle it in while you whisk. This is a great time to have a helper to hold the bowl for you. After your mixture's all tempered, we're gonna slowly drizzle in the rest of that warm milk while we whisk. So whisk, whisk, whisk. Our goal is not to have scrambled eggs, just a nice warm egg mixture. Take the mixture and strain it into a pot. You can use the same pot, but just clean it out first. It's nice to have no residues or anything lumpy in there. Take it over a medium heat and whisk. You're gonna whisk until it thickens up. You'll see a lot of bubbles at first. The bubbles will start disappearing, and then it'll start thickening unevenly. So you really have to whisk hard at this point. You don't want any lumps, and you want it to be nice and evenly cooked. Once your mixture is really nice and thick, take it off the heat, transfer it to a glass bowl, cover that bowl with plastic wrap so the film is touching the custard. That way the custard won't develop a skin to it. And now it's ready to pop into the fridge for an hour or 2 or overnight. You want it to be nice and cool. To make the tart shell, I'm using a cup or 226 grams of unsalted butter, a cup and 2/3 or 160 grams of confectioner sugar. I'm adding in a healthy pinch or about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, as well as a teaspoon of vanilla extract. You could also use vanilla bean paste if you want to be fancy. I find that by using a more room temperature butter, your mixture is a little bit more homogeneous, but you can use cold butter too and just whip the heck out of it into a nice paste. Whip that all up until it becomes a paste, at which point we can start adding in our 6 egg yolks. You can just dump them in all at once. You will have to scrape the bowl down. I'm warning you ahead of time. You want this mixture to be perfectly homogeneous. Once that's all homogeneous, we're gonna add in a pound of flour, 450 grams, and now we're gonna whip it up for like 40 seconds or so. You want it to become kind of a shaggy mixture. Once your mixture is all nice and shaggy, we're gonna dump it out onto a sheet of very lightly floured parchment paper, and I wanna tell you, this will be divided into like 3 batches to make it manageable, unless you have parchment paper this big. This is gonna be rolled out to 3 millimeters or 1/8 of an inch, and you're gonna use one of these guys if you have it. The rollers with the bumpers come in so handy. I bought this on vacation as like a lark, and it's become my new favorite roller, even though it is the least physically attractive. So roll it out between the 2 layers of parchment paper, and then pop it into the fridge on a baking sheet. It needs to cool down for maybe like half an hour to an hour. You could do it before as well, like the night before. Just wrap it in plastic or something so it doesn't dry out in the fridge. That's important. I have my chilled dough, and look how chilled it is. That is nice and cold. Okay, plop that on there. This is very important. Lift the paper off, and I'll actually just very, very lightly, like this, very lightly flour it. Put the paper back on. Turn it around. Bright eyes. And now we'll have a nice surface that I can remove the pastry from without it sticking. You don't want it to stick, it warms up immediately. These are the traditional tart shells that you probably have at home. They have a removable piece in the middle that has been placed someplace else. I'll find it later. I'm not gonna use this. I just have difficulty with them, and you have to like dock the pastry, you have to like put the pie weights down. There's a lot of stuff they want you to do, and it's just a little bit of a hassle. So I started using these guys. These are made by De Bayer for the Valrhona Chocolate School, and they're amazing. They come in lots of different shapes, squares, they have lots of circles, they have ovals, I have all of them. I started off with just the circles and I started buying because I was like making a bunch of videos for them, but they last forever, they're really well made, and they are so good at making perfect tarts. It's crazy. Let me show you how this works. So first of all, just press down. Okay, look at that. That's our tart base. It's not gonna leave the ring. All we have to do is add in the wall, and it's so easy. Take a ruler, cut out a strip, and then one more cut. Okay, now I have my beautiful strip of pastry dough. I didn't measure this out like I normally do to find the circumference of the circle, but we can just eyeball it. So we'll have a little bit of extra pastry, but that's okay. Cut the excess off. You want it to overlap after you press, maybe just like 1/8 of an inch. Okay, so press, this is the key. All these little perforations here, you're gonna press the pastry dough into them like this, and then press that together like that. Okay, now we have our almost perfect tart. What's left? This excess has to be cut off. So let's do this. Like that. So satisfying. This is gonna go into the freezer now, and once it's frozen, we can pop it into the oven. I'll show you a couple things first. Look how beautiful this looks. The amazing part is it bakes just like this. There's no puffing, no sagging, it's amazing. Freezing it is imperative though, so this one goes in right away. I'm gonna make a couple of these. I'll do a square one next. It's a little bit more challenging, but not too much. I should have been more strategic with where I cut my dough out. Okay, the dough's warming up, so I gotta be a little bit more careful. And let's cut another strip out. I'm gonna eyeball it. All right, perfect strip of pastry. Now we're gonna place this really carefully because the dough is warming up into our tart shell. For these rings that have 90-degree angles, you have to really like mind the corners because the dough doesn't naturally want to do that. Cut the excess off and then just keep pressing. Press down. Oh wait, I totally forgot to show you something for the other one. Let me show it to you now though. So in order to form a bond, you're gonna wanna press with your finger, or you can use some kind of a smoothing tool and just press the corner, and that'll cause it to like glue itself together during baking. And you're also gonna, again, press the pastry against the wall. So when you do that, some of the pastry is going into those perforations and it forms like a little bit of a glue during baking so it doesn't fall down. And now we're gonna cut this one again. So just take a knife and cut the excess so it's flush. Here we have our square tart, also ready to go into the freezer. I'm excited. This one, you might have to add like one little hole in the center for steam to escape. I'm just warning you ahead of time. Okay, the other key to baking these I wanna show you right now while those are in the freezer is this guy. It's a perforated, can you hear me through it? It's a perforated silicone mat. I have a link for this as well in the description box. They come in, again, so handy, but hard to find on Amazon, surprisingly. The whole point of these is that the air will like go underneath the mat and bake evenly and also allow the steam to escape so they don't puff up as much. Place your frozen tart shells onto your perforated silicone mat and pop them into the oven at 320 degrees Fahrenheit for about 12 to 15 minutes. It depends on if you want them to be like a little bit underbaked but beautiful and light. They'll still be crisp, or if you want them to kind of crisp up even more and get that nice dark golden color. Remember to check them after like 2 to 3 minutes to see if they're sagging, and if they are, just press the sides in and put them back in and you'll be fine. I have a batch that came out of the oven and cooled down a bit. I want to show you how satisfying this whole ring situation is. So take a look at that, and then look at this. Look up, look at the sides. The bottom has that nice texture like a bakery would have. Now I know their secrets. And you can see like the inside is like perfectly formed. This is a great tart shell. I'm so excited for this process. The other ones came out nicely too. Little rectangular ones as well that I made off camera. All right, I'm gonna set these aside. My pastry cream is cool now too, so let's give that a whip and get to assembling. Wait. What do we have to do first? We have to make our glaze for all the fruits. For that glaze, I have half a cup of apricot preserves in a little bowl, adding a tablespoon of water to thin it out, and a tablespoon of brandy to make it interesting. Tablespoon and a blessing. All right, so we're gonna microwave this and just get it warm and then mix it up and strain it. Because there are some apricot pieces in there. Ooh, it's really hot. Really hot. Finish straining. This will be perfect for brushing onto my fruits. It smells amazing. And the last thing before assembly is this pastry cream. I made this batch last night. Plastic off, and you can see it really holds its shape. Too much to pipe, so we're gonna whisk it up just to like kind of, you know, smooth things out, calm it down a bit, make it more pipeable. You don't want to pipe the hot pastry cream in there though, because the steam will like make the pastry soggy. Okay, that is much smoother now, so I can pipe it, fill it, it'll be really nice. Start off by piping a layer of custard onto your cooled tart shells, then arrange a various slices of fruits. I'm using some preserved peaches. I love the color and the flavor is actually really nice. Strawberries, kiwi slices, blackberries, raspberries, the works. You can arrange this in any kind of pattern you want. Do a mishmash, all one kind of fruit, or a variety for that beautiful composition like you'd see in a bakery. Once your tart shells are all filled with fruit, you're gonna give them a nice brushing of that apricot jam. This will seal all of the color in, the flavors, and they won't like wither away right away in the fridge if you're gonna serve them later. You can add a little sprig of mint for a touch of green if you want to, and they're ready to enjoy. I've been looking forward to making this and eating it forever. I used to go to these like little cafes in Westwood, where UCLA is, where I went to school, and they would have these fresh tarts, but they were not that fresh, but they were still good. So now I get to have the freshest of fresh tarts just for me with the best ingredients, no preservatives. Let's get this bitten. The pastry cream is so gentle, custardy, just the right amount of vanilla. I'm in a daze. Tartmatized. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you like my videos. You can hit that like button and subscribe if you do. If you like this video, check out my German chocolate cake tutorial. That cake is mind-blowingly delicious, and you will eat way more than you're supposed to and feel sick, but it'll be okay because it was so good. Or check out my how to make pastry cream tutorial for the full A to Z, every little detail you want to know about making pastry cream. So versatile and delicious. All right, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.